Unless specifically indicated otherwise, the content expressed are my views only and not necessarily those of Life Pro Asset Management, LLC. The content presented is in no way an investment advice, solicitation, or an offer to sell securities or investment advisory services. The material is provided for general information and educational purposes based upon publicly available information from sources believed to be reliable. I cannot assure the accuracy or completeness of these materials. As such, the information in these materials may change at any time without notice. Reference to these discussions about IULs and annuities or fixed insurance products. Investments on fixed insurance products are different from investments in the stock market. Any guarantees provided by a fixed insurance product cannot be assumed to be guaranteed for any other investment.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Jose, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jose.
Hey y'all, here we are. I'm so excited. Today is going to be such a great day. You got to love tech, right? Like we can't live with it and or live without it. And sometimes it's a little frustrating. So I basically had a computer meltdown with restarting my Windows and all that craziness. So I'm on my cute little Surface Pro. So might look a little bit different, but it's okay. You can still hear me. And I have my beautiful soul sisters with me today. We're very excited. We're going to talk about an amazing topic: meditation and healing. What the heck are either? And why do we need them? Do we need them? Does it change your life? Does it enhance it? Do you just feel like crap because you don't do it good enough? Because I've been there as well. And should we give importance to this at all? So we are going to bring on Miss Petalyn and Miss Karen, and we are going to share a little bit about what we do and how we feel and what it does in our life. So if you've first joining us, these are our beautiful soul sisters. We are missing Denise. Say hi to Denise. She's in Nashville.
Nashville.
She's having a good time. So she's missing our days. We should have sent her the link and said, hey, listen to us live. That would have been hilarious. Right. I didn't even think of that. So Denise is usually here with us. We do this once a month. And so check out all of our other episodes because we get down and dirty and we talk about all kinds of different topics. And so I'm going to let you beautiful ladies introduce yourselves because somebody might be coming on for the very first time. So Ms. Karen, what's up, girl? Where are you at? What you do? Where you live?
Well, I am Karen Cavanaugh. I am a life and leadership coach and an energy leadership coach. And I am in San Ramon, California. And happy to be here. So thanks for having me.
And she lives with her two little kitties.
I do. My two little munchkins, my furry kids.
I should say not little, they are literally not little at all. They're the most beautiful boys ever. So cute little kitty cats. Love it. Miss Petalyn, tell us about you.
Yeah, so I live up here in Mount Shasta area, and I don't know, I'm going to use my label as I'm a spiritual astronaut.
Oh, I love that.
Aren't you fancy today?
Right? I know. Everything else just sounds, it doesn't even capture the excitement with which, what I get to do every day. So I think spiritual astronaut is perfect.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love it. So I love how I think all of us have set our lives up to live the lifestyles that we want. We're all different and the lifestyles are different, but I was just thinking the two of you, and then I'm like, okay, well, I guess I did as well. So throughout our years, we've literally evolved to different places that changed our lifestyles and what we want now. And so I love how it's all come together to bring us all to where we're at now. And every single one of us is living our freedom and our lifestyle that we actually want to live. So it's really, really cool. I love that. And we all give back. Denise does as well. So we love being in of service of others. And so it's pretty cool. We all do it in a different way. So it's awesome. Awesome. All right. So let's dive right in. Tell me about your meditation practice, if you have one. Karen,
Go for it.
Oh, I don't know who's going to go
right.
first.
So you get picked on.
Oh, I don't know. It's like, am I the same place for everybody? I don't know. It's like Zoom, because anyway.
Right.
So my meditation practice it just depends.
I love that.
Sometimes I'm really like diligent. I have an app that I use. I use Insight Timer because you can do just a timer. You can have guided meditations. You can just do music, kind of depending on the mood, and it tracks your meditation and when you're doing it and how you're doing it and all that. So I love that app for me. When I use it in this last week, when I've actually needed it the most, I've kind of checked out of my meditation practice. And so the type A minus, because I'm getting better, the type A minus in me would normally go to that place of beating myself up for not staying on top of my practice, and or if I only do 10 minutes and I don't sit for 2 hours like Petalin does, that I'm less than, and just like all the little stories that kind of go in your head of what I should or shouldn't be doing. And, in my mind, any meditation is good meditation. Even if it's just 3 breaths to get present, it's still good. So this is a really perfect timing for me because, I was doing so great up to probably like 2 weeks ago. And then it's just life happened, vacation, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm off again. And it's like, okay, and I feel it. Like I can literally feel it in my body that I need my meditation practice back. So this is a perfect reminder to tomorrow morning, I promise. Actually, after this podcast, I'm going to meditate.
Oh my God, I love it. Awesome.
So thank you.
Sure, anytime. Whoops. Happy to have a podcast to get you back on your meditation.
Thank you for doing that for me.
Let's always have a podcast about what we're not doing that we want to do.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of like having a party so that you'll clean your house, right?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So Karen, I love your honesty. I love you coming in and saying that because we all shit all over ourselves, right? We always beat ourselves up. And this word meditation has just really irritated me for 15 years now. It's like, whatever, because I am and have been type A focused. It's so hard for me to get quiet and sit still. And I like Eat, Love, Pray. I just watched again the other day. I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to go sit there for like 10 hours during the day. Now, I would like to try. However, it's just not, I don't see myself as that person. So I started meditating by walking meditations, by movement meditations a lot. Like you said, the apps, I love the apps. And then they'll take you down a hallway or by a river or whatever. That's how I had to start because I just couldn't just quiet it. And I still am not even close to that. And I cannot wait to share later. So stay tuned because I cannot wait to share that I can wholeheartedly 100% say right now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you've been doing it for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 20 minutes, for 1 year, for 3. It does not matter. It literally does not matter to get you where you want to be. So it's very, very cool. I'm glad you shared that. I've never been consistent ever. And I've never done the app. It's just always been hodgepodgey. Just been crazy. And now with Petalin, I'm holding myself to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every morning with her energetically at 8 a.m. So I'm, 20, 30 minutes. I'm devoting that time to my angels, my body, my chakras, my healing, my silence, whatever we want to call it, and grounding before that. Right. So I still feel like I'm in action. I'm not just sitting there like Buddha, right? I'm still more like an in action meditation, but it is absolutely life-changing. I can feel my heart rate. Let me rephrase that. I feel like I think my heart rate is slowing down, but I can feel the stress leave. I can feel the grounding and I can feel that I'm not alone anymore. And it's absolutely amazing. So no shoulda, woulda, couldas. Whatever we can do, right? I love it. Awesome. All right, Miss Spiritual Astronaut. Thanks for joining us on Earth today, right? She's like, I'm out.
Zoom. Yeah, okay, I'm back. I go and then I'm back. So
And here she is.
right, and here I am. I love that you brought up the apps. I love that insight timer. What's really cool about the insight timer too is it tracks how many days in a row you've been meditating, right? So like if you miss a day or you go, you know what, I didn't use the insight timer today, but I did meditate for half an hour. So I'm going to add that session in so I don't miss a day, because they give you stars and rewards for however many, it's so for the A-type personality who's like, I want a reward, right?
I want stars.
It's really good. So, and then the other app that I use too, that I think is lovely, and oh my gosh, the content is amazing, is the Awakening app, or the Waking Up app by Sam Harris. It's excellent. I think it's about $100 a year, but it's so worth it in every possible way. So I recommend that too.
You guys just named 2 sponsors that I'm going to call after this and say, hey, would you like to sponsor my podcast? Because we like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then I so agree with you. You know that it's about quality, not quantity. And if meditation is to teach us anything, it's really to how to bring that sense of presence into every moment of the day as we can. And it is as simple as just breathing in, breathing out, and just leaning into the stillness of that pause between the out breath and the in breath again. I mean, that'll just like bring you right into the moment, So, so I think it's wonderful, and it doesn't matter how much, just as long as, because that's the whole point, is to not sort of like, well, I will spend 30 minutes or 5 minutes being really present, and then I hope that helps me for the rest of my day, right. Kind of thing. It's like, how do we really cultivate a practice of being present? So yeah. So I don't know. Sorry, I haven't been snorting cocaine. I have a cat hair or something.
Okay, my allergies are
right.
So for our listeners, people are scratching her nose, y'all. She's not like illness. Like
that's right. Touching my nose in a
Well, you do live in weed.
That's right. Yeah. So naturally,
we are going to question you.
Well, absolutely. And of course, as usual, I'm always going against the crowd, right? Cocaine and weed. I don't know. Never mind. Maybe I should. Yeah.
That's a whole other podcast.
That's a whole other podcast,
right?
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I love that we're so honest, because have you ever been in a room full of people or whatever, and they're like, oh, so do you meditate? Oh yeah, I meditate every day. Yeah, I do my 15 minutes or whatever. And it's almost like a shame that you're not in it, and that when you're around a bunch of healers and conscious people, and it's like, oh, what do you mean you don't meditate? Like, it's like I eat breakfast, of course I meditate. And it's kind of like a who are you kind of thing. And it's like, that's not what it's about. Like, the whole purpose, like you said, Peelan, is to get present, and whatever helps us get present really helps. I started way back when, and I remember at the firm when I was at, I had to put alarm on my phone, and I did it. Started with 3 times a day. Breathe. That's all it said. Just take a breath. And I had to sit back, roll my shoulders back, because I was trying to get into my Princess from Mayvu's program, and receive and let people do things for me. And I couldn't do that because I'm in my face going type A, and I had to get this done. And where's my star? And no. And so I literally had to roll my shoulders back, sit back, just kind of, and I still have to do that. Like, I have to sit back and relax so that I'm not trying to do 50 things, and just breathing 3 times a day. And then that wasn't enough. I needed to breathe every hour. And then I had that on my phone, my alarm every hour to breathe. And I feel like that was very helpful to me to be able to get grounded and to, like you said, get in the moment. Like it really did help me. Do you guys have any other tips and tricks?
I think that's really key, is to start where you are. Again, it's because you can get as much as somebody else. You can get as much out of 5 minutes if that's what you can do. If you do it, as somebody who can spend an hour or 2, like I tend to do, meaning that, if your capacity is a thimble full, if you fill that thimble, it will build, and the thimble will become a bucket, and then the bucket will become, or whatever, right? But the important thing is to fill the capacity that you have now for it, so that it builds, rather than starting with a bucket and going, but I only put a thimble full in there, I can't even see it. You know what I mean? It's really about shifting that paradigm and just really doing it that way. If that makes sense.
Yes, I love that. So let's go on this one. This just came to me. What's the longest you've ever been able to sit still, or like, let's just say not even meditate, but like with no, because we know Peelin's going to blow us out of the water, and I can't wait for her to hear what that is. But it's like, Karen, you and I, like, no music, no TV, no reading, no phone, no nothing, and just sitting still in silence, not mopping, not cleaning, not doing dishes, just sitting. Can you think of a time that you've done for a long time? Oh, good. Tell me all about it.
Yeah. So I learned transcendental meditation, years ago. I mean, maybe 20 years ago, maybe something like that. And so you're taught to sit for 20 minutes twice a day. And I did that 20 minutes twice a day. And I learned how to do that. And there were times where, I would go beyond that 20 minutes. Sometimes it was 30 minutes, but I would say the top was, for me, has been 30 minutes, where I can just really sit and be, fully present and in that space of just presence for that 30 minutes and there's no music, there's nothing. When you practice transcendental meditation, it's just you and your mantra, and that's it.
So I remember that Oprah introducing that into the prisons. She did a whole prison study about that, and it literally changed their lives. And I was like, oh, I wanted to get Parker in on that transcendental meditation, and I forgot all about it. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Sure.
I forgot all about that, but that's like amazing. That's cool. So we're going to ask Peelin after I go. That's how we play here. You got to get... She put her hands on her head.
Crescendo.
I did. I put my hands on. Okay, I'm out.
Crescendo.
Call me when you'll come back.
No. So I'm probably like you. I really haven't done that much for a long period of time with nothing. I will say that I had an amazing experience with Peelin the other day. And after, I was still recording it on Marco Polo. So I still had my phone there. So I wasn't nothing. But I literally sat in the chair and bawled and experienced and reveled and just sat in it. Oh my gosh. It was a long time. I want to say, probably for me, a long time, like an hour. Like it was, I'm like, I'm still here. It's still flowing. Like, it's great. Feels amazing. And so it wasn't just completely silent, and I was still recording it and stuff, but the feeling was amazing. And that is when I'm going to talk more about it later. So hang on. Don't leave the podcast. That's going to be a little bit later after the commercial. We are literally going to talk about that because that was life-changing. All right, Miss Peelin, meditation times. Talk about a little bit more about, like, because I know you've done like, I don't want to say workshops, but you've gone and done like experiences, places, right?
So I have done a lot of workshops, but not so much in the spiritual, realm, because I was still really trying to stay very clear in the left hemisphere of my brain, where, we've got to like build a business and we've got to appeal to, most people, and you can't get too woo woo. And at any rate, and me, I am all about like research and learning and all of that. So I tend to naturally gravitate toward the sciences and the physics and the theology and the philosophy of all of everything. But for me, that was my way of staying somewhat close to center between the spiritual realms, which has always been my thing, really. It was just about how to get that into the world in a more acceptable way. And so, I've started to really lean into my own guidance mostly, because the more that I do learn, the more that I realize that my guidance already knew a lot of that stuff, and all it needed to do was I needed to apply it. and you get to a place where all of a sudden all the little connections, the breadcrumbs that your guidance has been sort of putting there, and you kind of go, okay, well, that seems like it's significant, so I'm going to put that in a box and keep that. That'll make sense one day. And this as well, this makes, it's like I'm not quite sure how to connect them all, and then one day, boom, it all connects. So okay, so I'm not sure I'm answering your question.
You are, totally.
But so, and of course, guidance also leads us to, whether it's certain books or certain webinars or certain talks or certain speakers or certain leaders, and who are genuinely trying to bring light to the world, not just build their business in a sense, right? They're really genuine, like they don't need the money, they're in it to spread light in the world. And so all of that is a part of following the guidance, and just kind of expanding that vibration in your life. And the more that happens, the more I just sort of lean in and go, okay, I'm up for the ride, and that's why I'm kind of the astronaut here, so I'm not building the ship, and I'm not flying it, kind of thing. So yeah, so I mean, and there are people who spend hours, they do the workshops, they go to the meditation retreats, they spend 8 to 12 hours or whatever, and maybe someday I might do that, but I really enjoy, the longest I think I've gone is probably 4.5 hours, of just meditating. But for me, I needed to do that, and I really enjoy the experience of being in a meditative state. So for me, it's fairly easy. I will say that when I was trying to do 30 minutes a day, I found it really irritating.
Yeah, me too.
And it wasn't until I started to go longer that I started to really go, oh, okay, for me, this is what it's about. It's, that I have to kind of get past that 30-minute threshold. At least I used to. Now I can sort of drop into it right away. But I used to have to get past that 30-minute threshold for me to really come into a place where I was, suddenly like, oh, this is what it's about now. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
And can you drop into it, the meditative state every time right away?
Yes, I would say yes, but I would also say that I have an unfair advantage to most people, because I've really set my life up to make that really conducive. So, I don't have, a life partner. I don't have kids. I don't have, I've deliberately set my life up. That's why I moved up here, to change everything so that I can really pursue this to wherever it leads, so.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I love that. So Karen, you said you've taken a couple of weeks off. When you go back to now I'm going to just talk about words, because like she's saying, drop in the meditative state. What does that look like for you, dropping in? I'll have you both share, because everybody's a little bit different, right? So how does it feel like to you to drop in?
It's like this complete feeling of peace and calm. And it's like you're present, but you're not asleep. You're fully present. Or for me, I'm fully present. I'm going to speak for me, not you, but I am fully present. I am aware of my surroundings, yet I am like, it's like almost like out of body experience, where it's just, I'm not me. I'm not my body. I just am, right? Mm-hmm. It's just that place of the I am, and it's that spiritual place. It's not the physical place, if that makes any sense.
Totally. I think it makes sense more if you've experienced it as well, because I've just like recently been coming into all this fun stuff. So that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So Petalyn, what does dropping in look like with you?
Yeah, so I like to use that term because and we all experience it and analogize it in different ways. And I really like the way that because I agree with you, Karen. It is about coming to that place of peace and oneness, right? However you want to phrase that. But for me, interestingly enough, dropping in for me is literally dropping into the center of my being. So I do use my corporal, my body, to really, like my heart area or my solar plexus area. It's like there's an anchor that goes from, the sun, and it just literally almost, and I'm just describing the sensation of it. It sort of really drops down into my core, and it quiets everything around me. So dropping in for me is refers to not having to create that feeling, because I think when we first start off, we feel like we have to create this
Yes.
feeling. So we're actually in action. So we are actually the antithesis of really just dropping in. And it also really points to the fact that that reservoir of peace is always present. It's always there, whether we are paying attention to it or not. So dropping in is literally like just dropping into a pool that is always there anyway, just sort of allowing it. So that's what it means for me.
I love that. And I love, there's a couple of reasons why I like that. So I'm going to share a little bit of my experience, and then I'm going to let you both talk, because I'm going to have to go get my cord to my computer. Because that's the way we roll here. I'm going to share that I just really never really was, I don't think, very successful. I was getting quiet. It was great. And I was loving feeling at peace. And then I did a sound bowl workshop. I attended a sound bowl, which I'm actually doing a meditation one on this Saturday. So I'll talk to you more about that, because I'm going to need help. But I finally understood what you meant by peace and dropping in. I literally melted into the couch. I had no hands. I had no feet. I finally understood what everybody was talking about with just being. And it was the most relaxing feeling. And that was just like last month. And I carried that calm with me for probably 3 or 4 days, I think it was. And I even saw Shauna, who did it, who held it. And I'm like, I'm still relaxed. I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think that's helped me with this practice, because I was already working with Petalin and learning all this. And then that happened. And now I'm here, and it's just kind of all snowballed. And the other day when I had my experience with Petalin, after, I am sitting there going, I'm part of that tree. I'm part of the sunshine. I'm part of the rays. Like, it literally was no body. Like you said, Karen, literally no body. I was just part of being, of just being and sitting there. It was such an amazing feeling. Like, I love, love, love it. So it is very addicting. So now that I've had that, I'm like down for it. Like,
It's really hard to explain too, isn't it? It's really hard to, because there are different levels of feeling that way,
That's true.
And
so
when
I'm
you
going to let
really-
you guys talk about that exact thing. Level, say like different levels, like maybe I don't want to say a beginner, because I've done it for years and I still could never get to it. So it's not like a beginner, but it would be like different levels of dropping in. Can you talk a little bit about, both of you talk about that, and I'll be right back.
Karen, what do you think? How does that land for you?
I can't really speak to that, because I don't know that I've had a lot. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I think when I first started, it was, because I had to go from the thinking brain, and like, okay, am I doing this right? Am I should I be noticing things in my body? Am I supposed to be noticing anything? So it's like completely, like you said, the antithesis of meditation, right? Because I'm thinking, I'm not just being, right? So I kind of went from, and I still experience that. It's like, oh, here I'm thinking, and then the other part is the recognition of the thoughts, right? And so thoughts are normal. It's part of the process, right? We are going to think, and it's just recognizing the thought and then noticing it and letting it go, right? It's like clouds kind of floating by. So I think that's very much, at the beginning level, like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking too much. I'm doing it wrong. It's like I spent all this time, I'm not doing it right, and that's just, that was my crap, that was my crap, the perfectionist part of it, right? Of dealing with that. And I think as you progress, and as I practice more and more, like you said, I mean, I could drop in on an airplane. It didn't matter where I was. I mean, it was great because I would be, using that time, I'd be on an airplane, I'd be flying somewhere on business. And I would just take that, 20 minutes and, I got my meditation for the day. I was able to get my little star, everything. It was great. But I think that, I've heard people that like yourself too, that have meditated for these long extended periods of time. And I have not experienced that. So I really can't speak much to that. So I will turn that to you.
Well, I can only speak from my own experience. And obviously, yeah. So I think this is part of where what happens with the brain. It sort of goes off and then it doesn't. It forgets
There's the
to come
astronaut.
back.
She's going off.
Right. But yeah. So I totally hear you. I love that you brought up that chatty brain thing and so on, because I think for me anyway, I recognized once I went into the longer meditations that coming into equilibrium and total acceptance and even a level of humor around noticing the chatty mind and going, oh, there it is again. And oh, that's an interesting thought, but we're going to put that down. And just really having, coming into a form of compassion around it is very helpful, because the idea, as I understand it, and as I'm trying to practice it as well, is to not actually have an agenda. It's actually to not even go for the star or the whatever. It's to actually totally let go of any agenda whatsoever, to be in complete equanimity, if you will, free of aversion and attachment. And so it's a great way to practice letting go of attachment. So that's letting go of our reason for doing it, that we that motivates us to do it, or wanting to get something specific out of it, or, oh my God, I hope this is working. Well, what exactly does working mean, and look like, and what is it that I'm hoping to, and so on. So, so that's another stage, I guess, of it as well. And then as we kind of, learn to let that go, for me, then, all sorts of things happen. I noticed that it really, as I started to sit for longer and longer, in that place of silence, I noticed that everything started happening in my world around me. I mean, it's how I started this work that you and I have been doing, Jennifer, and so on. And everything just sort of, it's like, you're just along for the ride. You just sort of jump in the river and go, okay, I'm just going to float. Oh, it's great, and, and the river just kind of goes, and you go, oh, that's really interesting. Wow, I never knew this existed, blah, blah, blah. It's great. So, and of course there are challenges and so on. But as I say, I have an unfair advantage because I've set my life up for this. So, it's a little
But that was
harder.
Purposeful.
It was absolutely purposeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, we're going to do the commercial real quick. The Rock My Finances Club, which is Amazeballs, y'all. It's going off really good. We just had another new member sign up again. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the healings. We're going to talk about what it does to our body, our mind, our stress, our relationships. And since we are a money show, we are going to talk about how it does affect our stress around our financial life, and if it does or if it doesn't. So stay tuned. Come right back. It'll be a really short commercial, I promise. And then we're going to give you the real gold. See you right back.
Wait, the show isn't over yet. There's more fun and finances ahead. Jennifer will be right back as we have a special bonus offer for you right here on Rock My Finances, broadcasting live on K4HD Radio and Talk 4 TV.
Hey y'all, it's Jennifer Jost. Are you ready to transform your relationship with money? Rock My Finances Club is your weekly mastermind for wealth empowerment. Join me live for your personal weekly group video sessions and access your personal portal with the video library at any time, including your success system and way more bonuses. Go to rockmf.com for your financial empowerment. Make yourself a priority today. Schedule a chat with me at rockmf.com and achieve your feminine financial freedom finally. Oh, and don't forget to ask me how to save 50%. See you at our weekly mastermind.
Okay, Rock My Finances on K4HD and Talk4TV is back. Once again, let's put the fun in finance with your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jose.
Okay, we're back.
We're just like rocking. You're my
I
finance.
know, right?
I know. It's a little great little jingle. I love the F's, like what is it?
Fun
what
and
is it?
finance.
Fun and
Something.
finance.
No. Feminine financial freedom.
Yes.
I
is
love
my-
that. And then if
my
you
new
add
program
fun,
too. Yep.
fun,
Feminine financial
freedom. 4
freedom.
F's.
And my favorite word is the F word, really. So I kind of like all the F
Oh,
words.
we know it.
Hey,
Girl,
somebody's got to keep it
you got
real.
me beat.
I do.
That's tough.
I am a trucker from way back, man. It is my favorite word. I love it. Okay. So now we're going to dive into basically summing all the meditation up. It can look however you want it to look just to get present in the now. Doesn't matter. However it works to make you feel good is great. So how stepping into the word healing, we've all heard that, prayers heal. We've heard that there's shamanistic type of people that you can go to and get healed and that kind of thing, in church and religion, and there are healers and stuff like that. So we've heard the word healing, and I just want to talk about it more because now that we had the show, which go listen to one of our other shows, which is with Marie Z on the chakras. And I'm new to this, learning the chakras, but lighting up my heart chakra, which is gold, which is amazing, per Marie and Pedlin. I can actually feel that gold moving around and having a healing energy around my body and around what's going on with me. That's how, as much as I can explain around the healing situation. Karen, any experiences with healing with that word, or even what does that even mean to you?
Well, healing, it's like, it goes back to the mind, body, spirit, right? You can heal your mind, you can heal your body, you can heal your spirit, right? And we are all of those things. And so healing, it's when things are out of alignment for me, and this is for how I interpret it, is it's when things are out of alignment, right? When something is off. So when something's off in my body, my back will hurt, my feet will hurt, my knees will hurt, right? And so something is off. And so, my choice is to do everything holistically and naturally without, pharmaceuticals, without medications or anything like that. And trusting that there is a way to do so. Thank God for Pedalin too, because she helps with that. But so if it's something physical, it's like, okay, what is at the source? What is at the core of that issue? Because it's the issues are symptomatic of the core, right? And so if it's something, spiritual, and I'm just feeling like I'm not in alignment with who I am and what I'm doing, and it could be something as simple as I'm trying to think of an example. If I'm not if I'm not speaking my truth, as an example, right? It feels icky in my body. Like it doesn't feel right. I'm not being in alignment with who I am and with my spirit, right? And I notice that. So that there's something there. Why am I doing that? What needs to be healed for me in order for me to feel that I can speak my truth? I can say what's there for me. Same thing in my body. What is it that's off, out of alignment, that needs to be? Is it nutrition? Is it something physical? Am I doing something? Am I moving improperly? Am I overcompensating in certain areas? And that can also lead into other things, right? So for me, it starts with alignment and what's off, and then what do I need to do in order to bring myself, my mind, body, spirit back into alignment.
I love that. Pedalin, talk to me about healings, my dear.
So The way that I look at it is healing is something that happens constantly. It just like the cells, old cells and so on, they die off and they're destroyed and the body takes care of them. Healing is constantly happening, right? So it's almost something that we don't have to do. Okay. It's a For me, it's about developing or cultivating a congruency in all the aspects of my life so that healing can happen. And I'm saying this specifically because it's I mean I so one of the ways that I'm definitely into right now is fasting, whether it's intermittent fasting or fasting for several days or whatever it is, and I'm doing that very consistently. And because there's so much congruency now between my heart's desire and what I'm doing in the world in healing, that I have no issues anymore in terms of sticking to my fasting plan and so on. Because one of the things that for me fasting does is, and for most people, is it allows the body to heal. It allows the body to heal itself in a very natural way. So that's where for me, healing is about cultivating congruency between the different parts of our lives so that they can work together in a sort of a symbiotic way so that we're not efforting particularly to heal. Because the very notion that we need to do certain things so that the body can rest and heal, again, there's an incongruency to that, you know what I mean? But it's in our Western thinking, it's like what is it, to do to have to be. And I always flip that. I've been flipping that for years. It's like, be, who are you? What is it that you are? What is it that you already have that is congruent with what you are? And when you decide what you already have, how can that already seed what it is that you want to do? Otherwise, if you're just sort of doing all sorts of things, hoping that it'll help you to have what you need so that you can be who you want to be, when we already are. So I look at healing as a very sort of an organic kind of a being home. It's a homing device to home. It's sort of a homing thing, right? And when we're there, it allows healing to happen on multiple levels, multiple ways. So I'm truly experiencing that right now. Yeah.
I love that. And I love how you're both kind of saying the same thing with balance for Karen and congruency with Peter. And I love that. And I use the word alignment when I know that I'm on my path. And like you say, to get on your path, I think we've all said it here. It's not about a do. It's just like, I know I'm feeling it when I'm not. Like when I'm straying away from my path, whatever my path is. And sometimes I don't even know what it is, but I know that I'm not there. And it feels yucky to not be on my path. And it's like, oh, let's get back to our path, whatever that might be. And then like, I'm kind of just flowing the river with you as well. But when I'm totally aligned and I make a decision on something like moving from the Bay Area to San Diego, selling everything and moving, like that was ridiculous. I literally moved within 3 weeks because it was completely aligned. I knew that was it. I knew that was what I was going to do. And it makes decisions so much easier when you're balanced or congruent or aligned, right? We're all saying the same thing. But when we are all set up to be who we are, it could be a purpose, it could be a mission, it could just be feeling wonderful in our body. And when we're doing that, eating right for our body, like Peterlin's doing fasting now. I've been on a nutrition thing since I broke my face and lost my teeth 1.5 years ago. So I've been doing that with Dr. Tracy and healing my body from that side of things. But our mind, like you said, Karen, mind, body, soul, our mind is so much part of that, which is why I love to get people's mindset straight around their money, because it's not about the zeros. Like I just had a $45,000 month, and the next week it was like, I'm not aligned. So it's not about the money. It has nothing to do with money. It's literally about our mind, body, spirit, control, and congruency and all of that. That's awesome.
Well, it's not, here's the caveat though that I want to mention, and we all know this, but it's worth mentioning. It's not about perfection. So one of the reasons that I personally use the word congruency, it personally speaks to me, because to say that balance and alignment suggests to my, rat brain is that if it's not there, I've failed in some way. Right. So for me to cultivate congruency, it's always a process. It's never a there. Do you know what I mean? So it's a little bit more forgiving, and for me, it's more encouraging to keep moving in that direction, recognizing that it's a process of up and down and up and down and up and down, right? And so there's never a there. It's never going to be a straight line. Well, I'm aligned, and I'm all of that, right? It
Yeah,
doesn't
I like that
allow
better.
it doesn't allow for the wisdom that comes with the dips, right? And because our body is constantly changing, our hopes and dreams are constantly changing. We're organic, right? And we're constantly growing and developing. So who I was yesterday is not the same as who I am today. So it's really about being here in the moment, dropping in, as we said.
Dropping in. I love that. That's very true, because then, like that is where we get our wisdom, is the dips. And to always try to not have that, like being aligned or not aligned, then it's a wrong or right, yes or no, on or off. And the offs are some of the best teachings, lessons, experiences, whatever you want to call it. But
They're
yeah,
the
that's
best.
very true.
Absolutely
Yeah.
the best. That's where we get everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's where
I
the
love that.
opportunity lies for growth.
Yeah, opportunity for growth. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a good segue into growth. So let's talk about that. Do you, people in our life, how does it work with not just meditating, but actually growth, personal growth? All of this is all about personal growth, right? It's all about your life path, whatever you're doing, whatever you choose, your lifestyle and everything. So when you have people come into your life that does not maybe understand what you're doing, or haven't experienced it, maybe be a little bit afraid of it, or just sucking onto you to get all of your amazing good energy and not giving anything back, right? It could be both. What do you do? Do you experience that? First of all, Karen, we have, what do we have? Oh, we only have a few minutes left, but give me a tip on, because we all experience that. So just give me a tip on what do you do with that kind of experience?
I call those energy vampires.
Okay.
And they do suck the life out of you if you let them. And it's like I feel it. Like I just know that that's what's going on. It's like it's as simple for me as, how do I feel when I'm with this person? Do I feel energized, or do I feel depleted? And if I feel depleted, then I can feel what's going on, and I have, that's a boundary that I have to create. It's like, okay, I have to go. I don't let people like that in my life. Typically, it's at least I try not to. Sometimes, they sneak in, but I try not to let that in, because I want to continue to grow my energy and expand my energy, and I can't do that if someone's sucking it away. So it's part of my self-care and self-love practice to not allow that into my life, and really only surround myself with people like yourselves that are that have that expand my energy. Because when we were all together, I mean, I felt like invincible. It's so amazing spending time with you ladies, because it's like I felt filled, right? It's just a very different
sleepover, y'all. It was awesome. Our soul sister sleepover. That's awesome.
It was fun.
Miss Peelin, what do you do about coming across that kind of person?
So I think it's really important to do what Karen's talking about, especially as a way of really discerning where the quality of different energies in our lives, our own energy, and also to become really firm in the level we want to play at, and our baseline of joy and energy and so on. For me now, I realize that if I will need to caveat this, if I disallow certain things that occur in my life, meaning even people that come across and so on, I'm actually shutting something down in myself. So the way that I approach it now is that I observe. I kind of hold the position of an observer, and in observing with my heart, I'm not taking in anything that they're putting out, and I'm not allowing necessarily anything to be taken from me, because I'm aware of them. I'm aware of where they are in themselves, and I don't own any of it. It's not, it's their journey, and I'm appreciating their journey.
Oh,
They
I
have
love
full
that.
ownership of that, and I
I
have to
love that.
respect them, because I think that so-called energy vampires aren't necessarily like certain people. They're all of us at times in our lives, depending.
Oh, that's true,
And
I
so
guess.
to hold a certain, and there are some that could be professional ones, I guess,
Yeah.
but in a sense,
That's
I
what
used to
Karen's
attract
talking about.
right,
Yeah.
those little,
but
yes.
but in a sense, they are still us,
Yeah.
and so to hold that compassion, so that's kind of what I'm trying to
I love it.
practice more.
Awesome. We're going to sum up today with that beautiful word, compassion. I love that. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on Soul Sister Series. Next month will be more exciting, or as exciting, with a different topic. So it's going to be totally awesome. Thank you, ladies, so much. Let's give love, light, and compassion. I'll see y'all here.
Yay. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zeros, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.